In today's video, we're going to discuss how to play some basic scales, but swinging. So a lot of times I think people get it wrong when they start to think about what it is to play with swing, specifically on a wind instrument, but this could apply to anyone playing any instrument. And they tend to just think that it's the uneven or triplety nature of some eighth notes. While this is a characteristic of swing eighth notes, it is not the only thing that makes something swing or not swing. To me, what the swing is obviously the uneven eighth notes that's closer to triplets than dotted eighth sixteenths. It's not ta, 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 da, 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 da. Is triplets, right? Da, 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 da. It's actually somewhere in between. And what you can really hear that when you start to listen to different drummers and when they play the skip beat. Now, the skip beat is that ta-da part of the ride cymbal pattern. Dang, dang, ka-dang, dang, da-dang, walk the dog. Whatever syllables people are going to use to describe that. But it's that little beat, and where they place that little beat kind of determines what the swing is. And some drummers place it really far apart, really triplety. Some drummers put it closer to a dotted 16th. And so all of those things can swing, but the question is what makes it swing? So it's not da 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 da. This is the number one thing that I hear people do that makes it sound non-swinging. And a lot of people starting off will play that way, da 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 da, when they're playing a scale in a swing style. It might be technically not straight, it's not really swinging. So if I'm going to play a scale, I'm going to think more of dooba 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 da. I'm going to think about what I've heard referred to as the lope of the eighth notes. So what I'm thinking about is 4 eighth notes grouped together. Dee ba da ba dee ba da ba dee ba da ba dee ba da ba. They are not straight. They're not dotted the 16ths. They're more or less triplets, but I'm accenting every first in the group of 4. So da 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 dee ba da ba da ba da ba dee ba da ba 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and da ga da do da ba do ba da. Because when I apply that to my instrument, then it comes out much more even and flowing. Ba ba do ba da ba do ba do ba do ba da. What really makes something swing is the fact of the accents and the shape of the lines when it starts to move along faster. So in a scale, when it's up and down just very evenly, it doesn't apply in the same way. So we want to not over-exaggerate every other note. What I mean is you don't want it to sound like this. We want it to sound nice and smooth. Da ba do ba da ba do ba da ba do ba da ba da. Now, this is not to say that in a big band chart or an arrangement for a small group that you might not over-exaggerate every other note to make a certain phrase. There are plenty of phrases where that makes sense and it sounds logical and musical, but in terms of just thinking about an overall sense of like swing eighth notes, we don't necessarily want to over-exaggerate every other note. So as you're practicing these scales, I encourage you to think about the lope, grouping it in 4s and thinking about the flow of the eighth notes, not over-exaggerating every other note. Dee ba da ba dee ba da ba dee ba da ba da. Now, one thing to keep in mind is going to be the fact that this rule changes as you get faster. As the tempo gets faster, the eighth notes tend to straighten out and they tend to be a little less swung. So if, instead of B da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 at this tempo, it might change to, if I double the tempo or make it faster, so you can hear kind of the play, the interplay that happens between the downbeats and the upbeats when I go dee ba da ba dee ba da da dee ba da da, right? You can hear the back and forth. I'm accenting 1, and then you think 2 and 4 when you're swinging in jazz. So when you get faster, it starts to straighten out just a little bit. So keep that in mind. It'll come into play throughout this course in this book, and you want to be able to play them in a swinging not over exaggerated fashion. So that's how you swing correctly when you're playing scales. The lesson that you've just been watching comes from my brand new book, Jazz Frameworks Volume 1, and you can click the link down below to go ahead and grab your free copy of that resource. Jazz Frameworks Volume 1 is a textbook that covers the basics of jazz fundamentals in improvisation as we move towards improvising in kind of the bebop style. So if that's something you want to dig deeper into, this book might be of interest to you, and I encourage you to download it for free. Thank you to the University of North Texas, where I am a professor of jazz trombone, for offering this textbook for free through their open textbook program. If you're interested in the University of North Texas and learning more about our jazz program, please go to jazz.unt.edu and you can find out all about it. If this has been useful for you, I really encourage you to give the video a like, send the resource, the textbook, to a friend. It's a free PDF, and share the video with any colleagues, students, friends that want to get better at improvising in the world of jazz. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.